Hello and welcome to First Flight, a Star Trek Enterprise rewatch podcast where we are watching and discussing each episode of Enterprise in succession. First Flight is a proud member of the Tricorder Transmissions Network.
This is Commander Tucker of Enterprise. We've got some information you're going to want to hear.
You know, you mentioned LeVar, so I wanted to just take a quick moment to just tell a little LeVar Burton story, if that's okay.
Absolutely, because I have one of my own.
Oh, great. A while back, many years ago, I was at a Star Trek convention and LeVar Burton was one of the guests, but he wasn't scheduled for the vendor's room and I wasn't scheduled to have any photos or anything with him. So I knew there was no chance of me actually speaking to him other than hearing his presentation on the stage. That's the backstory. So I was heading to the bathroom, and as I was about to walk into the woman's room, and the men's room was right next to it, he was about to walk into the men's room. And I glanced over at him and I thought for a split second, do I prevent this poor guy from going into the bathroom? Or do I take 30 seconds to talk to LeVar Burton? I had to question that because I don't like bothering them.
Right.
But I decided this was probably the only opportunity I'd have. So I grabbed him briefly and we talked for like a minute. And I knew I could only say one thing to him. I wanted to let the guy go in. So I just said, you know, I'm a big Enterprise fan. I told him I was his fan, of course, but I said, I am a really big Enterprise fan and I love the episodes you directed on Enterprise. They were fantastic. And he said to me that he doesn't hear that very often. That's something he doesn't hear. So he was thankful to hear that. And that made me feel good that I could highlight his directing to him. And it was just a nice encounter. And I'm grateful I had that opportunity. So I wanted to just put that out there.
Well, it's a wonderful story. And my story echoes the same thing. LeVar is a personal hero of mine. And I have had the great pleasure of getting to meet him twice and actually talk to him twice. The first time was, I live in Wisconsin, was in Sheboygan, a little town north of here. He went to their Legacy series and he spoke in a high school auditorium to about 300 people. And there, I was 3 days away from my due date with my first daughter. And I bought tickets anyway, because I'm like, I am going to this. This is an hour and 15 minutes from my house and meeting this man. So I was very pregnant, but when they called for the open mic for questions, I was up there in like half a second, and I was the first one at that mic. And he looked at me and he said, "Oh, thank you so much for being here." I was like, "No, thank you." And it was great. And he gave me some book recommendations, which was fantastic. And then the second time I met him was when he was doing a live taping of his podcast, LeVar Burton Reads, in Chicago, with author Nettie Okorafor. And I got to meet him in the line, and I was pregnant with my second daughter. And he actually remembered me from Sheboygan as the pregnant lady. And he thanked me for being a reading teacher. And it was just glorious. And then afterwards, I was the last one in line to get Nettie's autograph. And he came out and was talking to her all about dinner. And he gave me a little elbow squeeze on the way. And it was just glorious. I have never heard of anybody saying he's been anything less than impeccably courteous and kind and gracious. And he is so talented and so intelligent and so passionate about his causes, biggest of which is children's literacy, which is my passion as well. So bravo, LeVar.
Yay. LeVar Burton cheering section here. Super nice guy. Amazingly talented. This was the first episode he directed of Enterprise, and we will continue to talk about Terra Nova.
The most profound discoveries are not necessarily beyond that next star. They're within us, woven into the threads that bind us, all of us, to each other.